has a one lap recorded, a 1:48.937. But one thing we know about Nathan is that we can do it from the back. So if he can get sorted with whatever issues he had, quite a few issues here today with bandwidth and goodness knows what, which seems to be getting worse thanks to EE, unfortunately. Back to the timing screen, 1 minute 30 remaining on the clock. Chris Blakey still top. Back to the timing screen, 1 minute 30 remaining. Thomas Potter back up into third, so Thomas puts himself on the provisional podium at the moment. Adam Lyle now in fourth place. Scott, but there's a lot of jockeying going on, so the fact that this mod that sees the track mature, which was the word I used earlier on, is working very well. Chris Blakey, I think, has banked his lap now. He's in the pits, as you can probably see from the timing screen. Craig Curtis still lasting round, so Chris Blakey on top, Craig Curtis P2, Thomas Potter with that late run getting up into third. Adam Lyle is in fourth at the moment, so Adam Lyle in P4, Scott Bugner fifth, Daniel Heaps next up, just half a minute to go, so really it's going to be the pretty much last knockings for these drivers. Now, how many others have we got? Only the one driver in the pit so far, so it's not even a question of, it's quite a long lap, so it's not going to be maybe too much different in terms of available space on circuit. It's not like a short track. Brands Indy is always the one that causes the problem with track congestion on so many championships where you've got a short qualifying. That's not going to be an issue here on Pascani. So welcome back to our pictures, and it is Chris Blakey. It's going to be a double interview, Rich, I think, with Chris Blakey, who's got provisional pole at the moment from Craig Curtis in P2. Thomas Potter is 3. So let me just start to write these down. Teapot in 3. Then it is Adam Lyle in 4. Fifth position is Scott Bugner. Sixth position, Daniel Heaps. So not a bad qualifying from Daniel Heaps. Good to see him up there. What did Daniel do last time out? Well, that's our top 6. We're going to take a quick break and come back with our interview with Poleman in just a moment. That's right. You're the SP is with Nathan, by the way.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just trying to... And you can go live.
So we're back, and those of you who are regular viewers know that we always offer our congratulations to the poleman, and then we do a shout out. It's one of the same guests today, Chris Protest Blakey. Well done, Chris. Great pole. How are you?
Surprised. Genuinely surprised in that, because I didn't work out my fuel right, and I've only done 5 actual laps, but yeah, genuinely surprised at that. I was watching Craig's time, and I was just thinking, he's coming through. He set some good times, and I know exactly which corner he lost it at, and I know exactly what he's going to be swearing at in the chat in a minute. Yeah, he's not going to be a happy man, bless him, but it's going to be an interesting race.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you were at Autosport last week, and we gave you a little bit of a shout out, and we'll come on to Autosport in a minute and the plans for this year. But in terms of the VRRC World Touring Car Championships, does it put you on the back foot not having raced at Brno last week?
Yeah, as much as I've been trying to practice the starts, you can never practice a start until you actually do a start. It's like when you race for real, you can't test the start until you actually do a start. So
yeah.
This could be carnage, this could be fine, who knows? We'll know in about 10 minutes.
It's a very interesting grid, I've got to say, and this is the beauty of the way the series seemed to work from week to week. So really good to see, and great to have another pole man. So well done on that, and a really good performance. It's lovely when. I'll say it's a surprise because we know you're quick. I mean, you were I was looking at the notes from Cooper Cup, and you did all the rounds for Cooper Cup apart from Virginia, the last one, but you were in qualifying, apart from one round, well inside the top 10 on that. And Pascani, 12th and 20th. So, yeah, a little bit of practice has done you well. Let's put that aside anyway and go to what we were going to do the shout out about, which is the Autosport show. And I didn't make it to the Autosport show, very sadly, but it's a great social event to go to.
Yeah.
And you debuted your livery for this year, which is on screen now, and I've got to say it looks absolutely fantastic. Tell us about it.
Thank you. Yeah, schoolboy dream, really, getting a car in the Autosport show. Obviously went there as a teenager and was absolutely awestruck and absolutely loved it. It's took me a long time to get there, many years, but the car was there, and like actually getting it there in one piece and getting a fresh wrap done on it. Andy Ibsen from TaylorMade Signs in Peterborough, he did the wrap. He came out on the 28th in between Christmas and New Year and did it in my garage. Cracking guy, wrap looks amazing, and I'm just over the moon with it, and it looked amazing in the show. I was really happy. So
it's that opportunity. There's something about when the cars are indoors, the lights and everything a lot of cars, as I'm sure yours will on track, look fantastic, but getting the opportunity to show it with a decent number of visitors is something a bit special, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. People don't normally get that close to the cars, especially in some of the grids. The 750 who we race with, obviously you can come look around the car, and I'll quite happily show anybody around my car. I'll talk waffle about my car until the cows come home. So yeah, it was great to like try and talk anybody into it or offer advice to anybody who's thinking about racing, because it's the best thing I've ever done, and yeah, I'll happily recommend it to anyone.
750, fantastic grids, great racing. I remember back in the day, one of the old short oval promoters saying that what people want to go and see is a lot of cars on grid, and 750 always deliver. Whatever championship it is, they deliver, I guess, in great value for money to get that many entries. And every time you look at TSL, or I look at it, I don't get to see the racing very much, but other than the odd stream. But every time you look at the entry list, they are heaving.
Yeah, it's great to see, really. It's especially obviously with the current financial market, etc. Racing is never cheap in any form. So it's nice for them to be able to do what they can to get as many people on the grid. The 750 are really supportive with all the clubs that we race with. Obviously, I race with the BMW Car Club, and everybody around there is great. There is no time we will try and keep you off the grid, and everybody will try and get anybody onto the grid, because you want people to race against. We're not kind of out there for prize money or contracts, whatever. It's purely for the fun of it, and it's great fun. It's amazing, it really is.
So Chris, when does the season kick off? What's the first round?
So we are first on April the 6th at Brands Hatch, Indy. So 6th or 8th? Yeah, 6th, yeah. April 6th, Brands Hatch, Indy. Which I've never actually done the Indy circuit, so that's going to be interesting.
So have you done GP then? So I'm sort of reading.
Yes, I did the Jeep in 2023. BMW Car Club got the opportunity to support the World GT.
Yeah.
So Valentino Rossi, all that sort of love. So we got to race on the GP, which was great. Apart from I might have money shifted in the first race and blew my engine up. So that you know, good and bad memories of that track. So I've never actually done the Indy, so looking forward to that. And then
that's a weird way round, because normally everyone gets the Indy circuit ad infinitum, and people don't get fed up with it necessarily. I guess it's difficult, the Indy circuit. I was talking about in qualifying. Sadly, I think when we were off, we had a technical problem. But I was talking about the crowded tracks and the Indy circuit at Brands. I'm guessing when you guys qualified there with huge grids, you have to pick your time.
Yeah, because I think because we're a multi-class championship as well. You've got the quicker cars, like the M1 cars are rocket ships. They're amazing cars to watch and listen and see go past me. But you've got to try and like do your laps without getting in their way or them hampering you. And at a track as short as Brands Hatch Indy, it's going to be very interesting to see how it plays out. So we'll take that one as it comes.
And in the notes that you pinged me earlier, you're saying you're looking forward to going to Thruxton as well.
Yes, yeah, I absolutely love Thruxton. It's the first time the club went there last year, and I absolutely loved it. Slightly, I'll admit, because I won both races, but it's just the driving experience around there, the speed of it. I can't wait to go back, and we're going to be supporting the truck. We're going to be supporting the trucks as well. So Nathan Smith says
that's a bar meeting, isn't it? Rather than 750. So so you'll get to meet a few people from the.
Yeah.
Have you met Nathan before?
No, never actually met Nathan. It was we haven't crossed paths in the racing world yet, but the Autosport show, it was good. We met Ollie Gibson, Scott Bugner, Stu, Olivia, Adam, and I hope that's it, because if not, I've forgotten. I'm getting old. But yeah, it was good to catch up with everybody. But definitely. Yeah,
I'm feeling guilty now. I should have gone one of the days, but the trouble is then, because it's on 4 days. You know, I was going to go in on the Thursday. I was supposed to be going up north last week, but the snow put me off. So.
Yeah, it is difficult. I'll be there all week, but unfortunately, I'm not going to work Thursday, Friday. So.
Do you know what? That actually made an impact with me over the years when I was fully employed. You know, on a salary, I could just take a day off and go, or have a couple of days and go at the weekends. But now I'm self-employed. It does make a big difference, doesn't it? Actually, losing days' work.
I'm employed, so I can't take leave. But it's just I'm that busy at work at the minute, and you only get a finite amount of days that you've got to pick and choose your days. And I've got to plan the rest of the race calendar out. Take Fridays off, Mondays off to get the cars, either get the cars to the circuit or pick the dogs up from the kennels. It's you've got to balance your days off around that. So.
That's another cost, isn't it? Dog kennels for racing as well.
Christ, they cost more than the bloody hotels, I swear.
Yeah, we lost our dog about 18 months ago, and if we went away for the weekend, you know, some of the houses we did home from home staying, so you take the dog to another house rather than the kennel, and some of the houses were better than ours. I should have sent the dog racing and stayed at the house myself, but
yeah. Yep.
There we go. Anyway, so getting back to sort of going full circle and getting back to Pascani, what do you reckon of the circuit?
It is bumpy. I don't think the Audi suffers from the bumps as much as the Hyundais, and following Craig earlier, and it looked like it was rallycrossing a little bit, bless him. But I don't know if that's settled car or whatever. But it is it's a very technical track with the tyre wear is going to be interesting. So we're going to have to see what happens.
And just whether you can get a car off the line or not for starters.
Yes, that is it. So, Rich, if you want to watch the back of the grid just as a camera angle, just to, just in case, yeah. Watch
so looking at the grid, Chris, you've got Craig Curtis alongside, and then Tom Potter, and Adam Lyle behind you. So who's the biggest threat out of those other three?
Craig, definitely. I think both me and him are on 0 weight, or he's got a kilogram. But I know the other guys have got weight, but their experience and getting the cars off the line, so it's going to be a tricky one. But I think Craig's definitely one to be watched because he's been very quick. I couldn't get near his time in free practice. His ultimate time was ridiculous. I think I was about 2 or 3 tenths off that. Just couldn't get anywhere near him. So going to be fun.
It's going to be fun. And for anyone who's tuning in that hasn't sort of seen one of the VRRC races recently, you are a race winner with us recently in the previous Cooper Cup at Nürburgring. So where Scott Bugner was second. So you've got previous against these guys to be able to do that. We've got 1 minute 30 to go. So unless you've got anything else you want to do a quick shout out for, I was going to let you get away with the race.
Just thank you to my beautiful now fiancée, my race manager. I think if she's watching, and the rest of the Harker family who sometimes watch this as well. So it'd be good to see them.
And give her a full name check.
Yes, Becky Harker, Bex Harker, my beautiful fiancée, soon to be Blakey. Yeah.
Lovely, excellent. Well, congratulations on that, and wish you both well, and wish you well for the race, Chris, and congratulations on taking pole position.
Brilliant, thank you guys.
Thanks very much for the insight. That was a really good chat. Thoroughly enjoyed that. Well, not that we don't enjoy them normally, but great stuff. Chris Blakey takes pole position for race 1 of our second event of the VRRC World Touring Car Championship on the fantasy circuit at Pascani, loosely based in Romania. Here is the grid. We've got 40 seconds to go. The unmistakable livery of Chris Blakey, which you'll have seen the real version of that livery at the Autosport show if you're there. Absolute stunner from the pictures, and wonderful to have that chance to catch up with Chris. Alongside Chris, though, is Craig Curtis. So Chris Blakey and Craig Curtis on the front row of the grid. Thomas Potter in the black and green car is next up from Adam Lyle in the Phoenix yellow and black livery. As you can see, the lighting gantry is ghosting in the middle of the picture, so that's getting ready to light up, which it does now, and we're ready for our first 15-minute race to get underway here at Pascani. Let's see whether Chris does struggle offline. That is such a shame for the pole man, but he's going to get in gear, and we know that he's got the pace to be able to do a fight back, but he's a fair way down at the moment, is Chris. A big pity for the pole man, but the nerves maybe got the better of him. But getting away is Craig Curtis in the position from Adam Lyle in second. What was happened to Thomas Potter? Thomas is back in sixth place at the moment, so a good start from everybody, it seems, apart from Thomas Potter, who's lost a little bit as well. I think Teapot was struggling with starting in the Cooper Cup as well, if I remember correctly. But again, the likes of Chris Blake and Thomas Potter, we can expect them to work their way back through. With the pace that we've seen from them in qualifying for this first sprint race, 15 minutes of Pascani set to go. A few shocks, I think we've probably got to say, in qualifying, with Nathan Smith down towards the back. Nathan has taken the start. He's in 10th place, which you can see from the timing screen as Adam Lyle has a look here. Very tricky circuit to overtake on. Grabs the inside line, and Adam Lyle pops the car in front. So Adam Lyle in the Hyundai with the Cross of St George on top takes the lead. So it's the Phoenix sports car in the race lead at the moment with Craig Curtis. We are on board with in P2. Scott Goodner has got up into, now remember, Scott qualified outside the top 4 rows, and Scott is already up into 4th position, the championship leader. So we've got plenty to be getting excited about here. Chris Blakey has already fought back and got up into 7th position. He's ahead of Lee Piercy. Lee having his series debut. Lee was one of the shout-outs we did in the BMW M3 Cup last year, and good to have him on board for our second event. Hopefully he'll be with us for the rest of the campaign as well, as we ride with regular MG racer in the real world, Scott Bugner, in P4 at the moment. So this has been a very good couple of opening laps from Scott Bugner, and shades of Eric Axelson here. Eric was the man who took pole in the Cooper Cup Pascani. That would have been July last year. Time's flying, isn't it? Very nearly, I think, be a year anniversary for myself in terms of the commentary box. So thank you for your patience putting up with me on these events. It's been a bit of a learning curve for esports racing, to be perfectly honest, but loving it and trying to deliver what we do on the real world circuits as we watch Thomas Potter putting Scott Bugner under a bit of pressure. So Thomas will know that he had the faster lap time in qualifying, and he's certainly harrying Scott Bugner at the moment. Thomas, one of the teenagers in the championship, and he's just trying to work out whether he can know is that track limits or not. He gets a wheel over the top, trying to go up the inside. Probably not from Thomas. You could see he was trying to keep as much of the car on tarmac as possible. But the lead pair, the second and third place pair, getting away at the moment for the battle for 4th place, as Andy Carroll has a look on the inside. So Andy Carroll with Craig Curtis up front at the moment. This is, now is it allowing Adam Lyle to get away? Adam's got the pace and speed himself and the fastest lap of the race so far. But of course, the more squabbling there is behind. Thomas Potter, by the way, the distance is up into 4th place, which you can probably see now. So Thomas has got past the championship leader, Scott Bugner, there. And this is why we look forward to these events so much. There is quite a lottery going on. Scott will be... I wasn't going to talk about ballast today because I don't have the figures written down, but remember that ballast will be an issue. We'll focus a little bit more on it as the series develops, so probably a little bit more next time out when we are at Tor Poznan in Poland for our next round, as we continue to focus on this fascinating scrap for second position. Andy Carroll wants to try and nip past, had a third in the first reverse grid race last week, and he'll be hoping to get a podium in race 1 here. At the moment, he's on for that, another third, but challenging for P2. There is Chris Blakey now up into 6th place. So Chris trying to hunt down on Scott Bugner. Down behind Chris Blakey, we've got Daniel Heaps, who qualified real well too. Daniel, another of the youngsters, and a podium finisher with VRRC before. So he's in 7th place. Lee Piercy is behind him, so Lee trying to work his way through. Nathan Smith up to 9th in the back of the grid. Then it's Alex Forster in P10, side by side for 2nd position. Thomas Potter will be enjoying this battle because he knows they'll be compromising each other's speeds. They come downhill now, side by side. Carroll's got the run here down the inside and gets the position from Craig Curtis. Now let's see whether Thomas Potter is close enough to get involved and make it a three-way fight. Thomas, the driver in the trio, if we can call him a trio, without the pressure at the moment, nobody directly behind him, and he has called them. He's engaged in this battle now for P2 with Adam Lyle, the race leader, clear by 4 seconds at the moment. Now, quick check on the tyres. I hadn't checked who'd started on what, but Craig Curtis is running on the medium. Scott Bugner, medium as well. Chris Blakey from pole was on the medium. Lee Piercy, medium as well. So majority of the drivers, in fact, on medium. The soft runners, Adam Lyle and Andy Carroll. Now the question is, will those tyres start to go off before we get to the end of the 15 minutes? So are we going to see a surge from the likes of Craig Curtis, currently 3rd on the medium? So remember, Craig was passed by Andy on softs. Scott Bugner on mediums as well. So are they going to come on song in the later stages of this race as we watch Andy Carroll? It's looking relatively settled at the moment. Now Andy's got past, he's starting to put a little bit of gap between himself and Craig Curtis, who lined up on P2. So we've actually, from 1st and 2nd, lost our top 2 runners. Craig Curtis down in 3rd place and Chris Blakey in 7th. So decent fight back from Chris Blakey. Thomas Potter now is getting involved and looking for a podium here. Thomas Potter on the outside run, can he make it stick? Has a little visit to the gravel, loses a wee bit of momentum as a result of that. He will come again and have another go. Scott Bugner and Chris Blakey down behind him. Thomas is running on the soft tyre, so if he carries on trying hard like that, as now we've got Chris Blakey having a look at Scott Bugner. Both of those drivers on the medium tyre. No changes in this or the second race for tyres as well, the second sprint race, race 2, the sprint race, but mandatory tyre change in the, and a little bit of contact there. Chris Blakey looks down the inside and he backed out of that. Fair play, Chris. I think he's just flashing his lights by way of apology for that little bit of rubbing that he had on Scott Bugner, and as I said, backed out of it, and he's going to have another go, try and close up again on Scott Bugner, but it's Lyle, the leader, still with the best lap, 146.556. Last lap 147.0. Andy Carroll 146. Andy Carroll the fastest of the drivers in the front group on that last tour. So Andy Carroll closing in a little bit on the race leader at the moment with, let's just flick up, 7 minutes to go. So there is time for this complexion of the race to change, particularly with the different tyre specs that we get on. Having a quick look at Alex Forster. Mentioned again, I can't remember if we were in the middle of Gremlins when I was talking about Alex, but he is one of the drivers, one of the teenagers, 17 years of age, doing his driving lessons. More importantly than that, he's got his arts test with the motorsport school at Mallory Park, a fantastic facility run by Pete and Melanie Edwards. Lovely, lovely people. So if you're looking to book your arts course or get family members involved, go and talk to Pete and Melanie. They'll look after you. They've got a really good team now, including Joe Thompson, I think, from the Mini Miglia Championship. Josh Rattican, who helps out there as well. Pete and Melanie's son as well is involved there. It's a super venue to go to. Probably going to put my own son through his arts test there as well in a few weeks. So we wish Alex Forster well with his onward racing as we watch Alex dicing Paul Laramie in front of him at the moment. Olivia Krishnovska just ahead of them in 12th place. There is Olivia in the yellow and black car. So Olivia, the teenage Scot, never know, might bump into the team. I'm heading to Scotland myself tomorrow, a little bit of a road trip, which I'm looking forward to. And we'll be at Knockhill on Friday. If anyone's in and around the area, come and say hello. Hope better weather this week, so we did pick our week correctly. So back to Daniel Heaps now. There is Daniel chasing Lee Pearcey. Good battle developing between the pair of these. Lee Pearcey and Daniel, both on the medium tyres. We said the majority of runners going out on the medium. Softs first and second though, Adam Lyle and Andy Carroll out front. Let's see what Daniel Heaps can do. Daniel will certainly know how to get heat in the tyres, being a drifter by trade. Terrific way for the youngsters to learn mega car control. You can see drivers taking different lines around Pascani, and Daniel Heaps missed out on, I think he had internet problems last week, 13th and 15th, so running a lot stronger today is Daniel Heaps. As we go back to Adam Lyle being chased by Andy Carroll. I thought I was going to say Adam Carroll, then didn't you? I nearly did as well. It's Adam Lyle out front. Andy Carroll in P2. Save. That's the gap first to second. Third position is Craig Curtis. This looking top four, looking relatively settled at the moment. So Lyle last lap a 1:47.5, and again Andy Carroll a little bit quicker on that previous tour, so is starting to pull the gap down. Chris Blakey's still in sixth place, trying to close down again. Scott Bugner's got away. They had a little bit of a rub earlier on as they come through the final turn. 4 minutes and 6 seconds remaining on the clock here at Pascani for our opening race of the day. Chris Blakey crosses the line again in sixth position. Adam Lyle still out front. Still a decent gap, 3 seconds plus the race leader has. Lee Pearcey from Daniel Heaps, pretty much in a similar formation to where they were earlier on. Lee Pearcey in the Audi. Hyundai again 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 at the moment. So Hyundai Elantra locking up the top 5 positions. Chris Blakey the top Audi. Nathan Smith down in 10th in his Audi. So not quite sure. Maybe Nathan will give us some entertainment in one of the reverse grid races and have a go here. But look at this again. We've got, this has been a good recovery here from Scott Bugner, reeling in Thomas Potter. So Scott on the medium tyre. Scott's a quick driver anyway, regardless of tyres, but they're working for him now. And he finds the inside gap here. It's outside for the next turn. Thomas is on the inside. Plenty of space between the two. But on the last, on the corner here, Scott Bugner goes for the cutback, and he knew that was going to come into the right-hander for the next corner. Read that exceptionally well. Great racecraft from Scott Bugner, and also good racing from Thomas Potter. And we can also see now that it changes the perspective for Chris Blakey, the pole man, who's now got Thomas Potter in front of him instead of Scott Bugner. So he's going to try and close in on Thomas Potter, and Chris has got the medium tyre as well. So maybe we're seeing the medium tyres start to work a little bit better. And if that's the case, are we going to see Craig Curtis in third close in on Andy Carroll as we get to the closing stages of this race? 2 minutes 21 to go, and it's still Adam Lyle out front from Andy Carroll, still 3 seconds, so the gap's not really coming down enough. Lyle to Carroll. Craig Curtis is in third place, 1.5 seconds down, so maybe not going to have a challenge on there, but we are getting a challenge here with Chris Blakey, the pole man, who looks very much at home on this track, as did Thomas Potter in qualifying. Here comes Chris Blakey, goes down the inside. Was there a slight touch there again? Not enough to totally dishevel the two cars, but there's more momentum here for Chris Blakey, who makes it around the outside and picks off Thomas Potter. So Chris Blakey on his recovery up into fifth position. Thomas Potter down into sixth, but still a good strong run from Thomas. It's going to put him in a reasonably good position for the partially reverse grid second sprint race. So Thomas will be happy wherever he starts and gets stuck in with a race, as Lyle still in front. Now showing Scott Bugner as P2, so okay, glitch on the timing tower. Craig Curtis is back, so need to trust their eyes more than anything else. What you can see is that Craig Curtis is closing in on Andy Carroll. So the medium tyre, we saw a very strong opening run from Craig Curtis, and then the soft seemed to bite a little bit more, and Andy Carroll started to get away. But now Craig Curtis, with less than a minute on the clock, is the tyre coming in too late for him? He's going to be able to get a P2. It's a fascinating battle between this pair. It's Adam Lyle out front. So Adam looking to make it a double of opening race wins for our World Championship as they exit the last corner and now go on to the last lap here for the opening race. Let's see how this is panned out. Curtis and Carroll having a super race. So it's Carroll now into P2. Craig Curtis down to third. Scott Bugner is in fourth place. Chris Blakey fifth. Thomas Potter in sixth. Lee Pearcey next up from Daniel Heaps. Josh Martin is next. Alex Forster in the top 10. Could find himself with a reverse grid pole position in race 2. But this isn't finished yet for P2. Those two, Carroll and Curtis, having a really good scrap. And it looks like it was a wake-up call here for Craig Curtis, who's trying to get back on terms as they continue the fight. Adam Lyle still out front. The clock has run down, so this is the last lap of the race with Lyle out front from Carroll and Curtis. Let's see whether Craig Curtis can fight back. And Curtis on the medium tyre, Scott Bugner medium as well, as is Chris Blakey. So the mediums, maybe not a huge amount to choose between the two. And there might be some changes for the second sprint race, particularly with the reverse grid now. And it looks like Curtis is going to have a go. He goes wide into the corner, gets the cut back on the inside, very nearly draws level. Are they going to give each other room? Yes, they do. And this is great stuff from Craig Curtis. He's got the inside run, gets his nose momentarily on front. But Andy Carroll has got the line through the next corner. But the nature of Pascani means that Craig Curtis will get the run out of the next corner and maintains that P2, so gets his nose back in front. Fascinating stuff. Craig Curtis back into P2 as our race leader comes into the final couple of corners, and Adam Lyle is going to make it a double. He might have a double to celebrate after this evening's racing, but a double opening race winner for our VRRC Championship. It is Adam Lyle who takes the win. Congratulations, Adam. Craig Curtis in second position. Third position goes to Andy Carroll. Super race between those two, with fourth place going to Scott Bugner. He's crossed the line now. Chris Blakey, great fight back from a difficult start for him into fifth place. Lee Pearcey comes home in sixth. From Thomas Potter down to ninth at the end, maybe had an off somewhere. So Thomas will be a little bit disappointed with that. But the upside is that he'll come back and have an opportunity from the front of the grid. That's our first race complete for this evening. Let's take a quick break and then we'll have our podium interviews in just a couple of minutes.
Mute yourself. Stay quiet, please. Okay, you're live.
So welcome back. The funny thing is that I'm having to put myself on mute, and I'm talking to Rich without realising, of course, that I was on mute. So there we go. Such the vagaries of having to look after your own sound. But anyway, there we go. Congratulations. Fantastic race. And we're going to start off, we're going to do 3, 2, 1. So let's have a quick word with Andy Carroll. Andy, well done. Third place, not a bad start. Another podium for you in event 2, but a great race between you and Craig.
Yeah, that was, decided to go softs, which I think not many of us did. And yeah, managed to get out past a few guys, and I think, got past Craig on the softs, and then it was really just a question of, can I make him last? And I think I just made a couple of small errors that just lost me probably, the difference between me and Craig kind of, going into the last corner close, and him just nabbing me on that sort of halfway around that last lap. But yeah, no, I'm well. I think I was started 7th, I think, so 3rd. Really pleased with that.
Yeah, I was going to say cracking start and great progress. Obviously, we saw Chris was kind of predicting his own demise when I was chatting to him earlier on, saying that these things are difficult to get away, but no such issue for you.
Yeah, and I've got dual clutches, so I've set the bike point so that I can get quite a good start normally. So that's very handy in these cars because they are really difficult to get off the line if you haven't got a clutch or a good way to launch it. So yeah, no, I got off the line pretty well. Managed to get a couple of places I think on the first lap, and then just chased down the other guys. And obviously I think Adam must have been on softs because he was kind of he put in some pretty quick laps at the beginning, so I didn't have a chance to sort of catch up to him. But no, as I say, podium, really pleased with.
Excellent. Yeah, replicate. We did podium in race 2 last time out. And for race 2, obviously similar sort of starting place. I think 1 place difference. You started 7th there, so start.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm torn as to whether or not to go softs again or not. But hopefully, yeah, I don't know. It'll be difficult because there'll be lots of people around me and lots of battling. So softs might not do very well towards the end, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see what you do. Look forward to seeing what decision you make, and hopefully with the same sort of progress, maybe see you on the podium again. So, Andy Carroll, well done. Great 3rd place, and a good opening to the meeting for you, and great for us to have a natter with you. So good luck for race 2, mate.
Thank you.
Andy Carroll, 3rd position, and well done. Great to see him joining the championship after working, I think, last week. So well done, P2. Craig Curtis, how are you, Craig?
Oh, hi, Rich. Glad to be back. It's been fun getting used to these new cars, and this track I haven't driven before either, so it was nice way to learn the car and the track over the last week. And my 1 lap pace has been good. Just wasn't able to get a lap together for quali, for traffic and under fuel for the last stint. But I just hope I made a good start. I crossed my fingers that Mr. Blakey didn't know how to use his launch control, so I managed to get away by the first corner in first, and then didn't realise that Adam and Andy were both on soft, so trying to get the car stopped, especially that end hairpin, it was a bit of a nightmare, but managed to rein Andy in then once the tyres dropped off for the soft guys, then managed to rein in Andy on the last lap, which I was glad, but Adam was way up the road by then.
Yeah, I think you got about 3, and there was a point where both of you were closing in on him, but the race wasn't long enough to be able to do that. How much you've probably been racing with these other guys, certainly longer than I've been commentating, so I don't know how long your history is with the likes of Adam and Andy, but I'm guessing you guys have been competing against each other in this for quite a while.
Yeah, I've been with VRRC now just over about a couple of years now, I think. So again, I was speaking to Adam earlier on, and when I first joined, I was just aiming to get into the top 10 and just make improvements going forward every championship. And round about now, I'm sort of at the front a lot more often. But racing these guys, week in, week out, you get to learn their defensive tactics and their aggressiveness when they're overtaken. So it's nice to have some good, clean, fun racing with these guys, and especially when their tyres drop off.
Yeah, and I hope you also don't do the same. I was looking back at the previous time we were at Pascani, which was the Cooper Cup, and you missed that round. So, does the actual competition in a round, particularly on I'm guessing in terms of virtual racing, a track's a track, isn't it? But you've with Pascani, there aren't real races that you can go away and watch and study, are there?
No, like I said, I watched the Cooper round fairly recently, actually, just to see,
Okay.
what it was like, and just to get a sort of. And then when I jumped on one day last week, I thought this is a fun track, but so bumpy, especially in this car. It's I think it's more bumpier than the Audi or the Cupra, so it's a lot to get used to. My wheeler's going mental, but it's quite loud as well. So, but yeah, it's been fun. I just hope I can again have a good race in race 2 now. And then the feature. So I've not done this new format a lot. I've done a couple of races now and getting the pit stops right and everything. So it's going to be a learning process for me.
That's good. Going on to about the steering wheel giving you a hammering, is that, can you get RSI? Because I know when I go karting, I get tennis elbow or RSI through it.
Yeah.
If I've done it particularly long. Does that happen with sim racing as well?
I just got a Logitech. I do want to get a direct drive wheel at some point, but from what the guys have said this evening on this bumpy track, it's not an advisable option. So I think I'm happy with the Logitech. But yeah, when you're racing, especially now with this new format for 3 races plus quali, your hands do tend to get like little calluses on the insides, and so yeah, it's I have to just wash the hands down later on once I'm done.
It's physical stuff, isn't it? So anyway, good to see you back. And are you on for all the other rounds? Because obviously you got last time out was your drop round, but will we see you for the remainder or?
Well, I'm in the next this week and the other 3 rounds, and then I'm missing the last 3. I'm away, so yeah, just a 4-round one this time. So yeah, a bit unfortunate, but hopefully from next championships I'll be there for the entire 8.
Okay, well, that's cool. It's always great to have you racing, Craig. So great to see you. And very well done on podium, and thanks for entertaining us during that race. Well done, Craig Curtis, P2.
Thanks, Rich.
Which brings us on to the top step of the podium, and it doesn't always work like this. Sometimes you can end up interviewing the same drivers over and over, but a 4th different interview from 4 positions, which is great for our variety. And congratulations to our race winner for race 1, Adam Lyle. Well done, Adam. Superb stuff. And doing what you did last time, winning the first race.
Yeah, had played the tactic, let everyone go on to mediums, and I think I loaded them in my setup and then jumped to soft last minute, just to not give out away again. But yeah, it was, as soon as we obviously started that race, I see Chris and Thomas bogged down a bit at the start, so I thought, yes, go on, that's them 2 out of the way, just Craig to go. And luckily, he locked up at that hairpin and slid on, because so did I a little bit, otherwise I'd have hit you.
It's fascinating to hear you say about, glad that they had their issues and locked up. But to be honest, whoever you're against, it's all good competition, isn't it? It's all hard competition.
It is, yeah. There's a hell of a lot of talent on this grid. Some of them obviously maybe struggling a bit more in this car.
Yeah.
But like, you've obviously got Josh, Chris, if he'd have got a good start. There's a hell of a lot of good people in here. So to get another race 1 win it's nice.
That's a brilliant start, and obviously in terms of championship, very early doors, but just having a quick look at the 3rd position in the joint second, actually, in terms of point, to Nathan last time out after the judicials and everything. So yeah, plenty to play for, and you really hit the ground running last week.
Yeah, last week I just really liked that track. Something clicked with it straight away, and then just got faster and faster each time. This one, obviously, I've done this track before. I think I got P2 behind Eric last year in race 1.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I can normally drive front-wheel drives all right around here, going from that.
That's good. Yeah, I forgot to mention actually in the race. So apologies for not mentioning you got the podium last time out. Scott and Nathan got podiums as well. Nathan a P3 and Scott had a P2. So yeah, the competition is very much there, isn't it? And going. So lots of work to do. Inevitable question is, obviously from 10th on the grid, what's the target?
Make the tyres last. No, it's going to be a hell of a lot different this one. I think top 10 will do me.
Yeah.
I
Stay
can't
where you
drive
are.
softs. Yeah, there's too much traffic for softs, and I've not really done any medium practice.
That's an
So-
interesting take. And of course, you've got everybody. The thing about qualifying is it can throw up some. I mean, it was slightly random, the qualifying order I think we had, but once you get into the race, things are a little bit more settled. There's a little bit more order, isn't there, when you go into reverse grid race 2, because you've got the people that have worked their way through.
Yeah. And obviously now I've got quite a few of the fast boys in front, so obviously they always put up a nice defence for you. So yeah, it should be fun.
Okay, Adam, we've only got less than a minute to go, so I'm going to let you crack on. Congratulations. Thanks for having a chat with us. Well done on a great win, mate. Well done.
Thanks.
Adam Lyle, our race winner from our first event here at Pascani. We are looking forward to Sprint Race 2, which is not the same as the first one because it is, of course, the partial reverse grid top 10 reverse. Alex Forster will start on pole position with Thomas Potter alongside. There is Thomas in black and green. Thomas starting, of course, on row 2 for race 1, and things went a little bit awry for him towards the closing stages of race 1. 20 seconds to go, so we'll see the lighting sequence come in just a moment. Then we've got Daniel Heaps, Josh Martin next up on his birthday, then Lee Pearcey, Chris Blakey, and again, winners can come from anywhere on the grid in this championship as we flick around and get ready. Lighting sequence underway and ready for race 2, the first partially reversed grid race here at Pascani, and this will take us to the halfway point of our racing evening. A bit of a slow start from Daniel Heaps, who was struggling away there, but a great start from Alex Forster. Thomas Potter nips into second position, but it's the 94 that leads them away. Thomas Potter in P2. Lee Pearcey is in third place. Josh Martin is P4, and Josh trying to go around the outside. Looks like they're all settled down quite nicely. Chris Blakey in fifth place from Scott Bugler, who could be a consistent scorer again. But we watched the two leaders with Thomas Potter immediately on the attack. He'll have a quick look in his mirrors and see whether the Audi of Lee Pearcey is going to be able to put the challenge in. Lee now up into third place. So Thomas Potter, it's Cupra from Hyundai, Audi, Hyundai, Audi, Hyundai, Audi. It's almost that repetitive pattern, isn't it, at the moment? But plenty of sorting out to do as Thomas Potter puts the pressure on. Driver of the round from last weekend, Alex Forster, has been racing on the sims since 2020. Retro TKM karts has been his experience. Not something I was particularly aware of, but we'll certainly look up to do a little bit more. And I think in line to race in the an MGB with the VRRC and the Owners Club Championship, as they do really back their teenagers now. But look at this, Lee Pearcey having a look on the inside of Thomas Potter. Wonderful move by Lee Pearcey to get his nose up into P2, but Potter's fighting back, so Thomas Potter back into P2 from Lee Pearcey. I found a magazine with Lee's dad on the cover the other day in the loft. Jeff Pearcey, who raced Group A hot rods. We had that chat with him a while ago. A little bit of a bump on the back from Lee. As a result, doesn't carry on pushing through as they come through the chicane as it is onto the start-finish straight, and Alex Forster leads this one. Flash of lights from Chris Blakey a little bit further back. The battle for second place is allowing Alex Forster to just focus on his racing lines and start to try and want to get away. Lee Pearcey here, trying everything he can. The birthday boys off on the grass. Josh Martin, who was well placed in this partial reverse, started I think P4 in this one. Very physical between this pairing. I think we're going to have the clerk of the course saying some words between the pair of them, and it's Lee Pearcey that goes through. I just think that's good, robust stuff from the pair of them. Great to see. And now we've got Chris Blakey, who got that outright pole, remember, and he wants to get back into a podium position. Maybe the chance of a win. Scott Bugler trying to follow him through as well. Thomas Potter, though, will put on a good defence. You can see Thomas going for racing lines rather than over-defending. So Thomas looking fairly confident at the moment. A little bit thrifty perhaps there, as Chris Blakey tries to pop the black and gold machine on the inside run here. Thomas Potter, did he get the run on there? Well, we're going to go back to our race leader. It's Alex Forster out front. Lee Pearcey in P2 trying to hunt him down. Let's see whether Lee can close down him. Third place now is Scott Bugner. So Thomas Potter ended up...
In the pits.
Did he go off the track? He's down in 14th, Thomas.
No, he's in the pits.
So Thomas has come into the pits. That's a shame. So he was vying for a podium position. So it's Alex Forster now. We need to keep our eyes on Alex and Lee Pearcey in P2. Scott Bugner third from Daniel Heaps, who was recalcitrant off the start, but has really got his head down, the young Irish driver, and having a very good run here. Daniel Heaps ahead of, well, momentarily ahead of Adam Carroll, who nips down the inside. Carroll goes through, and fighting back is Chris Blakey in the mix as well. Oh, it's all gone off there. Mega contacts as they come out of that final turn. Daniel Heaps involved in that one. Well, Rich Hayden is going to have a busy time officiating and looking at the various bits of contact that are going on. What I can tell you is, Alex Forster, though, haven't spoken about tyres as Paul Laramie gets a sideways on and gets collected, I think, by Josh Martin. Daniel Heaps in the mix as well there. So, well, a reverse grid race and all of the confusion that comes with that, but not on lap one, believe it or not, which is unusual. So I think it's getting a little bit frenetic at the 1/3 distance stage. Daniel Heaps now in 8th. Alex Walker is ahead of him. Alex Forster will be delighted to have been clear of all of that. So too will Lee Pearcey and Scott Bugner. Chris Blakey still in 4th place at the moment. Fastest lap of the race is with Craig Curtis. He's down in 12th, so Craig was involved in some shenanigans as well, but with fastest lap. Extra point, remember, for fastest lap, as we watch Josh Martin trying to get around the outside here of Andy Carroll. So a good race between the pair of them. But it's Forster, Bugner now in P2. Pearcey down to 3rd. Scott Bugner, the championship leader. But you can see here, it is all very, very tight indeed for 2nd, 3rd and 4th place as Pearcey goes back to the inside. Scott Bugner's got a wee bit more momentum as they flick sides of the track and change direction. You've got so many directional changes here. Oh, and very physical again, this time between Blakey and Pearcey. Blakey goes through. And Lee Pearcey, who was on for podium at one stage, finds himself now down in P4. Josh Martin will have to try and close down him. Josh has got his mirrors full of Andy Carroll, who's trying to go past. Behind Carroll, we've got Alex Walker having a good run, then Daniel Heaps. But Alex Forster, in his second meeting with us here, will be looking in his mirror and seeing the championship leader trying to close down on him. So it's Forster from Scott Bugner. An interesting dynamic for VRRC racing here, between the newcomer and an established driver, championship leader, busy trying to hunt him down as we focus on Chris Blakey, still trying to get back into P2 here. So Chris Blakey, who is on the soft tyre, Scott Bugner on the medium, so Chris might have an advantage at this stage and have a wee bit more grip. See how it plans out. He's got the inside run here on Bugner, and again, this is music to the ears, metaphorically, of Alex Forster, who will see the pair battling behind him. He can focus on his own race and his own racing lines and not be under pressure at the moment. Forster's last lap, 1:48.9. 1:48.3 for Chris Blakey. Up comes Lee Pearcey as well to try and join in with a very late bit of braking there. That's now down the inside. They go side by side into the corner. Bugner being challenged here by Chris Blakey. How is this going to pan out? Bugner's got the line into the next corner, but Blakey the one after that. They're still side by side. This is the beauty as they negotiate the undulations of Pascani. This is going to bring other drivers into the mix for P2 as well. 2.4 seconds approximately the gap between Forster and Blakey now in P2. Blakey on softs, Alex Forster on mediums. Need to keep our eyes on the gap as well as this battle for second position. So it's the Cupra out front, the Audi of Chris Blakey who took pole position. As I say, we know he's got the pace around here, undeniable from his qualifying. Scott Bugner quick wherever he goes, and a previous podium finisher at Pascani in 3rd place. Lee Pearcey in a very determined and gritty 4th place at the moment from Josh Martin, who's recovered well for 5th. Andy Carroll in 6th, Alex Walker 7th, then Daniel Heaps in 8th. Craig Curtis 9th, then Adam Lyle. Livia Krishnovska just outside the top 10 at the moment in 11th. Or Laramie 12th, Nathan Smith 13th. Jack Dickerson, let's give Jack a quick shout out. He is another of our newcomer drivers in the Audi 14th from Kenny Press and Thomas Potter in the pits. Disappointment for Thomas, but we may see him starting off the front of the grid for the feature race. And remember, his tactics are always pretty well worth watching, as is Chris Blakey, who is closing down on Alex Forster, the race leader. Forster has soaked up the pressure, not immediate pressure from behind, but the pressure of being in the lead of the race, which is when you're with a new group of drivers. I guess he will have been in this position with his sim racing that he's done before, but when you're with a new group, it is going to play on your mind, and he's done a very good job of leading this one as a newcomer. Are we going to see him grab another podium finish though, Alex Forster? A super weekend. Last time out, with second in the feature race, and his first podium interview with us, which was great. But it's the two black machines that are out front at the moment. Forster on the medium, Chris Blakey on the soft tyre. He's going to have a look down the inside. He gets close, got on the brakes there because he realised that one wasn't going to be on without maybe making a little bit of contact. So Blakey read that situation well. Chris Blakey in P2. This the battle for the lead as they now enter the final third of this race. Chris will have an understanding of what the tyres can do. I think he was on soft, wasn't he? But actually, I think he may have gone on mediums first time, but he was mediums in race one. So is that going to catch him out in the closing stages, and will it give Alex Forster a little bit of a boost as we get into the last few laps of this one? But Blakey now goes to the outside run to challenge for the lead. If he can get level, it will tee him up for the left hand of the first corner. Is he going to be able to hold on to it? No, he can't. Or can he now? It's still side by side as they go into the corner. Alex Forster there at the moment, but Chris Blakey's trying to draw level with him and finally gets his nose in front. Chris Blakey comes through and grabs the lead. The man who started on pole position for race one may not have sorted his starting out, but superb racing from Chris Blakey, who gets into the lead. Now, can he maintain the lead on those tyres? And already Forster is in battle with Scott Bugner. Both of those on medium, so it's a straight fight between the two. Lee Pearcey wanting to try and close in again and join in. So this is the look back from Alex Forster. His dad was telling me he might get him out in his short oval Grand Prix midget racer as well. That means we'll have two short oval racers on the VRRC grid, because remember, Olivia Krasnowska runs in the 2-litre hot rod formula. The Grand Prix midgets that Alex Forster alludes to, the single-seater open wheel, best thing you could kind of refer to them in days gone by were sort of shortened versions of Formula Ford cars, and indeed some Formula Ford chassis used these days. Top drivers tending to use a side engine mounted on the Grand Prix midgets, but be interesting to see if Alex will get a go in short oval racing this year. We'll be keeping a close eye on him if he does, but for the moment, holding on to P2 from Scott Bugner, who will know that championship points wise, third will be good points. And this is an Eric Axelson type drive for me. Scott just trying to work out. Isn't it funny how Eric's not here, but we still talk about him. Of course, he was mentioned in the driver interviews as well. And Scott trying to close down and will pick his moment well. He obviously, as championship leader, he can afford to take the odd risk if he wants to now. But Alex Forster makes a tiny mistake, runs a little bit wide. He's going to be punished by Scott, who gets his nose in front. We'll see what sort of momentum Alex Forster gets off of the corner. It's job done, isn't it, for Scott Bugner up into P2. And the gap now is 1.9, approximately 2 seconds back to Chris Blakey. But remember, Chris dealt with Scott Bugner earlier on in the race with just 3 minutes to go. So how is this going to pan out between Blakey and Bugner? So
Everything's going wrong with him.
we ride on with Chris Blakey. Open track here. This is what Chris wanted to see from his pole position. And after a good performance in pole, taking pole position, predicted his own demise, as we said earlier on, with the bogging down at the start, lost the lead earlier on. Great fight back, and again the progress we saw from Chris Blakey in race number 1 has been evident here in race number 2 to get into the lead, and has probably for the moment, with 2 minutes 13 to go, shown a very, very good job to assess the fact that he's assessed the soft tyre with his testing. He's worked out that was the thing to have and go through. Alex Forster now on the timing has dropped down to 5th place. Lee Pearcey up to 4th. Josh Martin on the podium. So we could be having a birthday interview with Josh Martin, who's got up into 3rd place. but Chris Blakey clear at the moment. Last lap 1:49.2, still quicker than Scott Bugner. So soft tyres. And again, this is going to give the drivers data for race 3. Data for race 3 for them, because they will get to know how far into the half-hour race they can go before the soft tyres, or indeed the mediums, start to go off. The question is, which one do you use when, and when do you pit, and when do you make the change? A quick look down the order to see if anyone is running on hards. No, they're not. We may see that in the feature race, but I suspect that given the performance we've seen from the softs and mediums in this, it will be soft and medium all the way through the feature race as well. Blakey's still in front. Scott Bugner in P2 trying to respond. Last lap 1:49.418 for Scott Bugner. Chris Blakey, the race leader, 1:49.207. Craig Curtis now up into 7th at the fastest lap earlier on. So Craig making a little bit of progress. And Lyle is, where is Adam? Was hoping to get another top 10. Well, he's in 9th place, pretty much as he predicted. So here is Chris Blakey. Scott Bugner is almost, we've got 25 seconds left on the clock. So down across the line. Scott Bugner trying to close down, but Scott will be content with P2 because it's very good championship points. And again, we're getting different drivers on the podium. I'm going to have 7 different interviews from the first 7 places. Never happens when Reeves. Is it the Reeve effect, I wonder? Because we get a lot of, often get a lot of repetition when Reeve and I juggle the interviews around. But today, just the solo commentator, and the way things stand at the moment, 3 more different interviews. Actually, it'll be a second one, won't it, for Chris Blakey, because he had the pole. But will it be for a winner's interview, because Scott Bugner is closing up, and those soft tyres could well be starting to lose their effectiveness. Scott Bugner is closing up, so this is the last turn. Bugner closing in on Chris Blakey. Chris will feel the nerves that the championship leader is right behind him. Lee Pearce is still in 4th place, and Scott Bugner looks poised now. He's looking to the outside run. This could be about a cutback for Scott Bugner here. Is he going to be able to do that? There's half a gap there. And Bugner places the car down on the inside line. Hasn't quite got the momentum, though. Blakey carried a little bit more speed on that wider line. But Bugner now on the inside gets his nose in front momentarily. Still side by side as they come through the closing stages of the lap. Bugner now is going to get the lead. And Scott Bugner is through. Down the dip. Bugner into lead position. But still doggedly hanging on the outside is Chris Blakey. Side by side they go again. But Bugner has got the manoeuvre done. And it looks like the gamble on the soft tyres, maybe for Chris Blake, did get him into the lead. He's going to be arguing and lobbying for laps lead points, I think, now, Mr. Hayden. I think that could be, we don't really want that because that would make the maths even worse. At the later stages of the season, we're in the late stages of the race, though, and the top 3 are virtually together. And Scott Bugner on the last lap has gone through into the lead and takes a win. Scott Bugner wins it. Bugner the winner. 2nd position is Chris Blakey across the line with Josh Martin in P3. Next up, we get Lee Pearcey from Alex Forster in 5th. Craig Curtis next from Alex Walker. What a race that was. Superb stuff. Top 10 across the line. Daniel Heaps in 10th place, then Adam Lyle. Nathan Smith down in 12th place from Livia Krzyżanowska in 13th. Jack Dickerson next up. From Kenny Press, who will take the line as well. Thomas Potter, 7 laps adrift, I think, winding up in pits. We'll hear more from him a little bit later on, but let's take a quick break before we interview our top 3.
Self. I'm having all sorts of problems, unfortunately. Right, who do I need? Chris Blakey.
Josh.
Right, gents, keep yourselves quiet, please, until we ask you to come on. Thanks very much.
Josh gets second and trying to second on the screen. Do what there, yeah, thank you. Happy birthday.
And you're live.
Welcome back. What a race that was. And the way the tyres played out, it was a fascinating race to watch. And we say congratulations and happy birthday to Josh Martin, back on the podium with us. Well done, Josh. How's your birthday been?
Cheers, thank you very much. It's been nice. I've been at work all day, but the job I'm doing, I'm really enjoying. So yeah, it's been a nice day.
That's good. And did you bargain on the podium there?
To be honest, with how my evening started, no, because I was having a bit of a computer problem. I couldn't actually get into the qualifying session, so I was only able to do 2 laps. They were the first 2 laps I did today. So I wasn't in any form of a rhythm. So yeah, qualified down in 12th, and obviously got a little bit of a tap on lap 1, which dropped me to 15th or 16th, wherever I was in race 1. So yeah, worked my way up to 7th in that one, and obviously got a good starting place in race 2. I think I was 4th on the grid, I think. And it's a shame. One part of me, like, I think a podium with how the night started is a really good result, but I feel I really could have won that race if I didn't get a nice little tap on lap 2. But
it did get a bit physical, didn't it?
Yeah,
and there was a bit about a third of the way through, about in 5 minutes in as well, when things got physical, sort of in your group as well.
Yeah, the car behind me just ran wide through turn 1 and then got up onto the exit curb and then used me as the brake for turn 2. But you know, it is obviously just general mistake. They just ran wide, so yeah, I just wrong place, wrong time. And yeah, and the group in front then getting all quite bunched up in. I saw cars going down the pit wall and all sorts, but it allowed me to catch back up. So yeah, it helped me out.
There was a lot of changes in the complexion of that race, to be perfectly honest. With likes of Alex Forster, who led so well for so long, one of our newcomers, did a great job, and then just all seemed to go a little bit to pot for him. But he's got a lot of potential there. Remainder of your birthday, obviously we've got race 3 coming up, so again an element of reverse grid racing for you. Is it off down the pub after that?
No, I'm saving that till Friday. I'm going to have a group of friends on Friday night, which would be good. But no, it'll be a dinner and then off to bed, and then back up early tomorrow. So yeah.
Is it the family company you're working for at the moment?
Yeah, it is. Obviously, D-Martin Contractors.
So
yeah,
what are you up to? What are you?
We're cutting a load of reeds in a wetland in Pershore. If anyone knows where Pershore is. So yeah, it's a nice little project to start the year off.
That's good. How many weeks does that take you to do? Is that a long contract?
It'll only be it's probably about 2,000 square meters total, but it's only week and a half. So
right.
Yeah, no, good little project to get the year going.
That's good. And sort of driving machinery during the day, and then more driving machinery in the evening.
Yeah, exactly that. I spent all day on a pointed an excavator with a reed bucket cutting reeds, and drive home and then jump straight on the sim and do some more driving.
Absolutely bonkers. Anyway, well done. Happy birthday. Hope you have a great day and enjoy your celebrations on Friday. And all being well, we'll have a chat with you after race 3 as well. Josh Martin, well done.
Cheers. Thank you very much.
Always a pleasure. Chat to Josh. Let's have a word with a second word of our Wednesday with Chris Blakey. Chris, well done P2. It was very nearly P1.
Yeah, that softs just didn't play out, but I saw how good they went in the first thing, and so I thought I'd give them a try, and obviously got me around the majority of the thing. And I'll hold my hands up. Apologies to Josh. That was me that gave him the tap.
Oh, was it?
Yes. Yeah. I'll hold my hands up. I didn't realise he was in third. Otherwise, I'll just give the place a lot, because I'll be getting a penalty for that and guarantee it. It was just a honest mistake on my part. Nothing he could have done. So unfortunate times.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that we and the viewers see is that you guys are all honest with each other, which is
I'll hold my hands up with a big mistake. Yeah, that was me, but just desperately pushing to kind of get to the front while the softs had and make a bigger gap that Scott couldn't get past me. But unfortunately, there he was. So last couple of laps, I could just feel him going. I could just it was like a cliff. They just dropped off a cliff, and the second I went through the corners before the hairpin, I just saw him reeling me in. I was like, yeah, it's over, done.
There was quite a lot of racing, wasn't there, up to that point? Had you not maybe been as busy in the early stages, think you might have got more out of the tyres?
Yes, hopefully could have built a bigger gap, but shoulda, woulda, coulda type of thing. It's you never would have known. So, So yeah, I threw it away quite spectacularly in race 1. So
Well,
all of my own doing. But
again, you were honest about your, how you thought the start was going to go. It did go that way, but you fought back well. So we've seen 2 good attacking drives from you, and the fact that you got pole, does that give you sort of confidence going into the racing, knowing that you can pop the laps in and get past these people?
Yeah, racing definitely starting can't. Ask Paul Larriman next time. I can't start a car to save my life, and in the sim or in the rail car, there's just something I just can't do, and I must get better at.
Stick your feet out the bottom.
That's it. Yeah, Fred Flintstone. That'll be quicker sometimes.
But anyway, two not bad results, and you've got all the work to do again in the feature race. But now you've got an idea of how much the softs can do, so you'll have an idea on timing for your pit stop here, I guess.
Hopefully, yes, maybe. I'm guessing it with fuel, so we'll try and see how long things last and which direction we want to go. So
interesting times. Well done. Good to have another natter with you. I've had plenty of airtime today, haven't we? Which is great, Chris. So I welcome that, and hopefully we'll do the same again for race 3. And if not, then again next week or the week after. Chris Blakey, well done on P2. Great drive. Well done.
Thank you, guys.
And another great drive from race winner Scott Bugner. Congratulations, Scott. How are you today?
I'm not too bad, thank you. How are you?
Very well. I didn't get to talk to you last week because the way we juggled the interviews when Reeve's with us, we sort of try and do. Reeve does first and third in the first race, and I'll do first and third in the second, and so on and so forth. So you managed to avoid me last week, but I've caught up with you. I'm about the only person who did catch up with you in that race.
Yeah, no, it's, I thought you were avoiding me.
No.
No, yeah, it was a good race. I just can't do the softs. With the full ballast at 35 kilos, the softs just aren't lasting for me. I've tried numerous things, and I just can't get them to last more than sort of 5 or 6 laps. So starting on softs was a no-go for me, and the mediums was just hang on and just see what happens. And I tried to keep Chris behind me as much as I could and as long as I could for the sort of first few laps, because I knew he'd drive off, and it worked in my favour this time. But yeah, it was a good race. I think it was good.
And ballast is. I wasn't going to start talking really about ballast till next week, but I will do, because you are carrying a huge amount of that, and it makes a difference. But it's a nice problem to have, isn't it? Because it means you're doing well.
It means you're doing well. Yeah, that's a positive. But
yeah, you
don't really understand how much it changes the car so much. Even just braking for the chicane after the back straight. I'm having to brake sort of 20-30 meters before everyone else. It is really difficult to get the car turned in, and acceleration's not the same. And I've been going through setups left, right, and centre this week. Sort of changing around ones that Andy sent me, and just can't quite get the car to work how I want it to work. But we've kind of got a nice stable setup at the minute that's working for me, and it's not using the mediums so hard, and at least lasting the race. So yeah, it's been a good positive. I wasn't expecting to speak to anyone this week, if I'm being honest.
That's all right, championship leader. Because we didn't get to talk to you as championship leader last week because of the judicials, obviously, with Nathan. So that was well earned last weekend. Did you? I'm not sure whether Reeve asked this question. So apologies if Reeve did ask it, and we're repeating last week. But did you try the other cars, or was it slotted into the Hyundai and that was it?
Yeah, me and Andy sort of were messaging all the way over sort of before Christmas and through Christmas to see what we were going to do. And I'm still a bit of a boy racer at heart. I like the sound of the Audi, so I wanted the Audi just for the sound. But I just couldn't. I loved the look of it, and I liked the sound of it, and I liked how it drove, but I just couldn't quite get the lap time out of it that I could with a Hyundai. I could do 3 laps in the Hyundai and already beat the Audi time. But I just think the Hyundai kind of suited my driving style a bit more. It's a little bit more loose, which is my sort of driving style, a bit loose at the rear and a little bit hairy.
That's good. And does this kind of competition sort of help you get set up for the proper track, the real tracks that are coming up in a few months?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, especially going back to front wheel drive this early on, it's nice at the beginning of the year, and sort of dipping my feet back in the water again, and getting back in the sim, and dusting the cobwebs off, and seeing how this season goes in the sim, and hopefully it can be even better in real life.
How's the prep going for that, by the way?
I'll be honest with you, the engine's still out the car.
Right.
The engine will go back in it, I should think, within the next sort of 4 to 5 weeks. Probably February time. And then we'll get a couple of track days in, probably end of February, beginning of March, and then our first race is at Donington, I think at the end of March, and then still Snetterton, I think Easter weekend, I think.
Right. I mean, Chris was saying he's looking forward to. He's got Brands Indy, and because he's done GP but not Indy, and looking forward to Thruxton. Is there a sort of key meeting or track that you're looking forward to this year?
Possibly our last round of the season, which is at Silverstone, because I think you'll probably be commentating on it, because I think it's actually the TCR guys. I think we're on a package of TCR for a random race at the end of the year.
They're bark now,
so
they're
maybe not. Maybe
possibly. I mean, I'm not saying I won't, but most of my work, the last sort of live streams, has been VRRC 6. TCR's moved to Bark this year.
2 minutes.
Yeah, no, but yeah, I mean, I do like Thruxton, I like Castle Combe, I like all the fast sort of tracks where you have to hold your breath for half of it and then breathe at the end of it. So, yeah, we'll wait and see what happens.
Because you're at MG, is your car, can that go in Cockshoot Cup?
Yes.
Oh, well, you can come race with VRRC then.
Yeah, no, we can do Cockshoot Cup. Yeah, if we wanted to, we can do it, not a problem.
No, I don't want to poach drivers, so one thing I don't want to do, all the clubs that are out there are racing well, but obviously, depending what happens with, TCR and everything else. That'd be a good round, actually, TCR at Silverstone. It should be a good shout, and they're getting some good vibes off the show last week, and looking forward to hopefully a good season for them. Right, how are we going? We've got just a minute to go, so I'll tell you what, Scott, I'm going to let you get away and think about your strategy and tyres for race 3, but very well done on the win. Great to finally catch up with you in this one, albeit in the second event, and good luck for the final.
Thank you very much, take care.
You too, mate. Thanks, Scott Bugler, our race winner. Congratulations to Scott. Chris Blakey second, and Josh Martin in third place, as we look forward to our full reverse grid feature race. Now, remember, the points are added together from races 1 and 2, and the top scorers start at the back of the grid. So it gives us a chance to talk about different drivers up the front of the grid. And you can see Kenny Press on pole position in the high road livery. Then we've got Jack Dickerson alongside in the lovely silver and yellow, and then the equally lovely black and yellow with the salt tyre of Olivia Krasnowska, who is next up from Nathan Smith. So Nathan, remember, was in pole position when we left things last week. Let's see what he can do from P4 in this one. Our lights are being prepared. We've got Thomas Potter lining up 5th on the grid, so we'll see what Thomas can do from there. And it will be lights out in a moment. Kenny Press and Jack Dickerson on the medium tyre. Olivia Krasnowska in P3 is on the soft. And it's Olivia looking around the outside, but Nathan Smith coming through in the number 11 car. Such a shame for Kenny Press to go off on turn 1. I was looking forward to Kenny getting a few laps in with the front group, but alas, it's not to be this time. Hopefully next time we'll see Kenny having a lot better luck. But it's Jack Dickerson leading here, so again, great to see VRRC newcomers to the fore. Dickerson leading from Paul Laramie. Nathan Smith next up. Olivia Krasnowska is in 4th place from Thomas Potter. So this big sort out that we get here in the early stages. Dickerson leads, Smith challenging Paul Laramie for P2. Now, whilst they all squabble, it can sometimes allow the pole position drivers to come away. Adam Lyle having an issue early doors as well. That's a major pity for the double race winner. He's not going to make it a double in a meeting, very sadly. And Jack Dickerson similarly, which leaves Paul Laramie in lead position now from Nathan Smith. Thomas Potter works his way through into 3rd place. Olivia in 4th. Jack Dickerson recovering for 5th from Andy Carroll, who in fact passes Dickerson now. So Carroll in front of Dickerson. Again, for the newcomers, it's a great opportunity, the reverse grid, to start to build confidence with hopefully what will become regular competitors. But look how fierce it is at the back of shot. We've got a great big gaggle of cars all dicing over positions, with Andy Carroll at the head of the group now and about to try and hunt down the group, which has broken away a little bit. It's Olivia Krasnowska in 4th place on the tail of Thomas Potter. So it's Laramie, Smith, Potter and Krasnowska. Olivia, who had quite a few good races with Thomas's sister going back in the, I think it was the Cooper days, wasn't it, that we saw that pair of perennially dicing, and Olivia trying to hold on to Thomas Potter at the moment, but again showing strong running in the early stages, as is Paul Laramie up front. So Laramie from Nathan Smith in P2, Thomas Potter. Now, of course, we, in addition to having a reverse grid, we also have the pit stops to look forward to. And so Laramie on softs at the moment, Nathan Smith on the medium, and then Thomas Potter soft, Olivia Krzyżanowska soft, and Andy Carroll is on the medium, as are Jack Dickerson, Daniel Heaps, Alex Forster, Craig Curtis and Josh Martin. Scott Bugner on the medium as well, down in 13th place. So it is all going to be about pit stop strategy, as well as the big sort-outs that you get in the early stages as Thomas Potter challenges Nathan Smith for P2. He's on the outside run here, giving each other a little bit of a tag there. This is allowing Olivia to close back in. Olivia will be learning her close quarter racing experience from the short ovals, because those cars, if you've never been, highly recommend that you go and watch the likes of the 2 litre hot rods if you're in Scotland at Lochgelly Raceway, which is a wonderful facility, beautiful track. And one of the things I love there is the cars coming through the tunnel out onto the track. It's a wonderful thing. So too is this scrap for second position at the moment. And Potter goes through, Thomas Potter goes through. A bit of contact there with Nathan Smith, which will have to be looked at in due course. But at the moment it's just racing Nathan side by side with Olivia, and Olivia trying to make the move through on the inside run. Let's see whether Olivia can do it. Nathan on the outside run at the moment, but Olivia momentarily had a nose in front for third position. Good racing from the young Scot. But Nathan Smith gets the better of the position. Paul Laramie away. Paul Laramie disappeared off the timing screen because I miss him going off.
It's pitted.
We've got, I'm sorry, Paul, so apologies for missing that one. Thomas Potter, apologies to you too. Now in the lead from Nathan Smith. So Thomas Potter, as we've said, has been a master tactician in terms of the reverse grid races on the soft tyre, and he'll be delighted to be in lead position here with Nathan Smith. Olivia getting a little bit of a drift on there, and is trying to hook the car up to grab the inside line of Nathan Smith. Fine battle between those. Paul Laramie is there in 4th place, so Paul will be keen to try and get back. Andy Carroll is 5th. Daniel Heaps in 6th place goes through in black and red. Thomas Potter with the race lead at the moment, and he'll also not only be pleased to be in the lead, but pleased to see Olivia Krzyżanowska dicing with Nathan Smith for P2. Olivia on the soft tyre, Nathan on the medium. 5 minutes into the race.
I think Paul Laramie had a drive through because he's done a pit stop, he drove straight through.
Paul Laramie, we're hearing, think had a drive through, so he's showing us a pit stop on the timing screen, which could explain that. But still on the pace, still showing in 4th place. But this is a great attacking drive from Olivia Krzyżanowska, trying her hardest to deal with Nathan Smith. Nathan, very accomplished racer. Olivia getting more and more experience as well as the series continued. Raced with us in the tail end of the World Endurance League a while back. Obviously was with us for the BMW M3 Cup. And if you put the results on a graph, I'm not sure whether anyone's done that. I haven't actually had a reason to do it at the moment, but if you did, you would see an upward trend in the finishes for Olivia Krzyżanowska. And again, putting the challenge on, which you'll see Paul Laramie closing up. Olivia looking on the inside run there. Paul Laramie closing in. Whilst these two fight, Paul will make the most of it. So too will Andy Carroll back in 5th position. Daniel Heaps 6th, Craig Curtis, Alex Forster in 8th, Josh Martin 9th, Alex Walker 10th from Jack Dickerson, Chris Blakey, Scott Bugner down in 13th place at the moment. So this race is not really panning out the way we thought that it might do at this stage. Thomas Potter getting away, and a great scrap on here for the podium positions, and Olivia again has a look up the inside, gets real close to the back end of Nathan Smith's car, goes out wide here, looks for the inside, and Olivia spots the gap and goes through on the inside, side by side with Nathan Smith. She's got her nose in front, but Nathan's got the inside run into the next corner. This could leave the door open for Paul Laramie, but Olivia backs out of it, tucks the car back in behind Nathan Smith to preserve and defend that 3rd place at the moment, while still attacking and having another look is Olivia Krzyżanowska. Can't go through. Wonderful piece of racing, and now a duo becomes a trio, becomes a quartet, all for 2nd position. And Olivia, I was going to say, not paying scant regard to the people behind, but she is at the moment masterfully looking ahead and behind. It's the most tricky position for a racing driver to be in when you're attacking, but also keeping an eye on the mirror at the same time. Paul Laramie has got Daniel Heaps, Adam Carroll right behind him as well. Daniel Heaps not too far behind as well, as Olivia goes through again, side by side. Thomas Potter fastest lap, and Olivia might be the wrong side of the track for the next corner, so may well have to tuck in, but she could use the outside line to get a little bit of a sweep here and attack Nathan Smith on the next corner. Can't quite do it, so comes out wide here. That could leave the gap open for Paul Laramie, who sees half a chance. Can't again quite do it. Paul backs out of it to avoid contact. What a fantastic quintet. We've got all battling for P2. Thomas Potter on the softs is still the race leader. Nathan Smith doing a sterling job on the medium tyre, which I'm sure you'd agree won't give him as much performance perhaps as the others, but Olivia super driving from her as well. We've seen her in previous rounds mounting some good defences, but now seeing the attacking ability of the young Scot, who looks up the inside again, can't quite do it. Paul Laramie will challenge for third place again, and all of this has happened within the first 9 minutes of our feature race here at Pascani. They're all closing up. Now, are they going to start to think about taking pit stops here? They probably will before too long. Laramie through on the inside, but there goes into Nathan Smith. Olivia read that as well as she could and tries to go through. No fault of Olivia Krasnowska there. Paul Laramie had a little bit of contact into Nathan Smith going into the corner. And again, one for the stewards to sort out, but Krasnowska is up into P2 now. And coming up into third is Andy Carroll. Carroll third now. Nathan Smith, having been the victim of the contact there, drops back. Paul Laramie still in the mix as well. Daniel Heaps there too. Fantastic racing, and through into P2 goes Andy Carroll. Olivia's second position is short-lived, but she's still on at the moment for a potential podium. Thomas Potter, meanwhile, 10 seconds down the road. Oh, there's contact there into the barrier. That was Paul Laramie, who has gone off. I might say the judicial possibly. I'm not saying Paul was necessarily at fault earlier on, but there was contact made. Big shame. Would love to have seen Paul up on the podium, but that car is stranded there. It means that things are slightly calmer now up at the front, with Thomas Potter, the leader, well clear of Andy Carroll in second place. Olivia Krasnowska is third. So it's soft tyres first and third. Andy Carroll, the leading medium runner at the moment. Olivia in third. Nathan Smith is on the mediums as well, holding his own, still in fourth place. From Craig Curtis, so Craig in fifth, then Josh Martin, then Daniel Heaps in seventh place. Alex Forster is in eighth, Alex Walker in ninth place, and Scott Bugner now in 10th. So Scott is driving his way through the field slowly but surely, and will be thinking about when to go on to, we presume, the soft tyre. We've got 19 minutes left. He will probably want the best part of the race on the medium tyre, so it might be another 5 minutes or so before we see Scott making the change, as Nathan Smith comes under pressure here from Craig Curtis. Thomas Potter with the fastest lap as well. Unsurprisingly, it's amazing how that has fallen for Thomas, but he's got his head down, and best lap of the race in early doors, 1:47.019. Good dicing going on down the order, and Nathan Smith doing some great defending here. Here comes the birthday boy though. Josh Martin gets past Craig Curtis, and you heard the story from Josh himself earlier on, saying that he didn't have Olivia Krasnowska coming into the pits, and that's about right for me with the soft tyres. Olivia, I think, has felt that she's had the best out of the softs. It'll be interesting to see how she handles that and where she comes out after everyone else has done the stops. It leaves Andy Carroll now in a clear second position. There is Andy, clear of Nathan Smith, well clear of Nathan Smith, but also still 10 seconds behind Thomas Potter. Last laps, 1:49.176 for Thomas on the soft. Andy Carroll was slightly quicker on the medium last time, and that could serve him well up to his stop, but he's got a good few minutes, I think, to go as we watch now the battle for third place. Good scrap going on for fifth behind between Daniel Heaps and Craig Curtis. Nathan Smith defending from Josh Martin, both of them on the medium tyre. And Josh, you felt in his interview that there was more to come in this meeting because of the problems that he had in qualifying. He only had a couple of laps, and he's certainly been building momentum today. But this is where he loses time when you get stuck in a battle. Obviously, he doesn't want to go in early doors. We're not quite at the halfway stage, but now gets past, so he could get a couple of clear laps now. He's got past Nathan Smith. So he goes through up into that P2. P3, beg your pardon. So Thomas Potter, Andy Carroll, Josh Martin, Nathan Smith. Andy Carroll's made ground. I forgot about Andy. He was out on his own, comes down the dip. That's going to be the focus now for Josh Martin. So it's now Josh actually showing on the hard tyre here, which I've only just noticed. How did I pick that out to medium early on? Josh really is doing well if that is the case. On the hard tyre,
Daniel in the
so when an H looks like an M to me. It certainly does on some of those optician tests. Loads of people coming in to the pits now, including Daniel Heaps, who comes in. So this is the halfway stage of the race. So we're going to start to get to see people coming in. Thomas Potter coming in as well, and it means that we've got Andy Carroll now as the race leader from Josh Martin in P2. Now, how much extra? What will Josh go on to? From hard to soft or hard to medium? It's going to be an interesting call from him. Nathan Smith still running well, still in third place and having a good run on his medium tyre with Craig Curtis all over the back of him now. Let's see what Nathan driving a very good, solid defensive race here. Remember, joint second on points coming into the meeting with Adam Lyle. Adam taking another race win, of course, in our opening sprint race today. Scott Bugner in fifth now. Scott running on the medium. So getting up to fifth on the medium, good stuff for him. Presumably he will go onto the soft tyre. Another lap or two perhaps for Scott. He might leave it maybe 3 laps to get the best out of the soft tyre and have a charge through the field after all of the stops. Now, in terms of the stoppers, unsurprisingly, it's the stopper Potter who is leading that group. Olivia Krishnovka second on the drivers that have swapped over. Thomas now on the medium tyre, as is Olivia Krishnovka, and should be enough to get them towards the end as we watch this continuing battle between Craig Curtis and Nathan Smith. Craig's got the inside run here, but you can see how the circuit snakes, gives the advantage to the other driver, and you've got to kind of think about 4 corners ahead. Well, thinking further ahead than that is Nathan Smith, who peels off into pit lane now from the battle for third place, and will go onto the soft tyre. Quick look back and see how the others who have changed are doing. Alex Walker down behind Olivia Krishnovska. Josh Martin now the leader from Craig Curtis. There is Josh, our race leader on the hard tyre. Best lap 148.7. Last lap 148.5. Craig Curtis last lap 151, because he was embroiled in that battle with Nathan Smith. It just goes to show you there how compromised times get when you get embroiled in a battle. But Josh Martin probably wishes for a softer tyre now he's out on his own, but on his own he is, and he will carry on as Lyle carries on. Adam on the actually Adam's showing on the hard tyre as well, so Adam and Josh Martin taking a gamble here. They will have, I guess, done some testing to see how durable they are and how fast they are in comparison with the durability of the tyre. So Adam Lyle in P3, and the question is, will he stay on? So he's on the hard tyre as well. Daniel's had his stop, so top of the stoppers again is Thomas Potter. Andy Carroll now second. Olivia Krishnovska is third of the drivers that have had the pit stops at the moment, which we need to look at. But we're heading down towards the last third of the race, and this is around about the time when we would expect the remaining drivers to come in, and there are a fair few of them to do so. Craig Curtis coming in ahead of Adam Lyle, so Lyle into pit road. Meanwhile, back with Josh Martin, and this meeting has thrown up, as we said so far, we've had the potential to interview 7 drivers, and we've had 6 different interviews so far, which is, I think, over the last 3 or 4 events that I've done with you guys, that's the biggest variety we've seen. And whether it's Pascani or whether it's the nature of this championship, the way it's been specified, probably a little bit of both, I would imagine. It's been a fascinating evening so far.
And Jack
Josh
Smith's
Martin
not here.
on the podium. I'm just getting from Rich saying, don't forget that Jack Smith's not here. But Jack will be with us. He did send us a message last week saying he's doing, I think he's doing the last 4 rounds. So we look forward to Jack coming in and shaking things up. And he won't have I'm guessing not have a championship to race for, but will be good to see him. And thank you to those in the racing world who answered the question about getting Jackson racing experience as well in the paddocks. We've had a couple of teams that have offered suggestions, if not help. So pleased to be able to help him with that. I hope that he will get something of a high-profile nature to get involved in the real world. As we Thomas Potter, who's really climbed up the order, and again, Thomas had a 10-second lead before the stop. So this is looking very good indeed for Thomas Potter. Bugner down behind him. Scott has done his stop. Scott Bugner down in 9th place at the moment, now on the soft tyre, so we can expect Scott Bugner to start making some progress. Alex Walker immediately ahead of him at the moment, so the championship leader. All of the drivers very humble, you know, when you interview them. I've not come across a cocky driver yet in terms of the interviews that we've had, and that's the joy of this championship. If you're watching and thinking about having a go, stop watching, come and race with us at VRRC, get involved, and it's not too late to join, even though we're around 2, and come and have a great time over the next few weeks. Let's continue to watch though. Scott Bugner trying to close down on Alex Walker. Walker's had his stop, he's on the medium. Bugner on the soft tyre, should have the edge, but this is a straight race between these two. Remember, Bugner started further back, but Alex Walker rightly defending his position at the moment, doing a really good job of it too. Scott tries to look down the inside. If you have a bad result in Rome, I quite like the fact that you drop the event rather than individual races, because it means you've got to be really careful. You've got to think about all 3 races the same here, and Scott trying to do that now, goes through on the inside, a little bit of a tap, that's acceptable in my eyes anyway, and Scott Bugner goes through. It was a hard-earned place. That's the kind of move that you see here at Pascani. So Scott Bugner makes it through 7th position now, 5th position for the drivers that have stopped. Thomas Potter still the leading stopper from Andy Carroll. Nathan Smith 3rd, so Nathan's first run has worked out well. It's going to be interesting to see where Nathan is in relation to Josh Martin, who's still on the hard tyre, and Adam Lyle in P2, who is on the hard as well. So very interesting strategy from those two. Craig Curtis busy chasing Alex Forster. Thomas Potter goes up into 2nd position. So is he going to assume the lead? He's being chased by Andy Carroll, who's on the soft tyre. So Thomas, let's have a look back at shot, and you can see Andy Carroll comes into shot behind Thomas Potter with 9 minutes on the clock. So does that mean that Andy Carroll is going to be in a position here to catch and possibly pass Thomas Potter before the end of the race, if they wind up, and I think they probably will wind up, as P1 and 2 after Josh Martin goes in the pits? The birthday boy still leading this one. There was Thomas Potter with a reminder on the side, no social media hate. Thomas, a victim of some nasty behaviour, which I think he's put well behind him, but rightly still promoting the idea that we should all be using social media to be decent to each other. There's absolutely no reason to be spouting stuff, and the teapot is flying as ever, and so too is Andy Carroll. Look at the gap has come right down. He was right at the back of shot a lap or so ago, and the soft tyres are working real well. Carroll's last lap, fastest lap of the race for Andy Carroll, 1:46.945, and Thomas Potter's last lap, a 1:48. He's taken 2 seconds out of the race leader on the last lap. Potter's strategy may still be a podium strategy. See how this pans out. So we're going to have a battle on for the lead very shortly. In 7 minutes remaining. Andy Carroll looking for his first win of the campaign. And the key thing, of course, is to look behind Andy
The fastest lap.
to see another fastest lap for him, to see who's chasing. Josh Martin's now in the pits. So Thomas Potter from Andy Carroll. And it's Nathan Smith that we're looking for in the background. Nathan well down on these guys at the moment. So Nathan could still be up for a podium. Adam Lyle is 5th. Scott Bugner 6th, working his way through as well. And Thomas Potter, the only driver in the top 6 on the medium tyre at the moment. So could be making life difficult for himself. Last lap as they go across the line again. Last time was 149 for Thomas, 146 for Andy Carroll. He's closing in on him. Spoke to Andy P3 in race number 1. Of course, catching is one thing, overtaking another, but it's soft versus medium tyres, and time is on the side of the chaser. We ride on board with Andy Carroll again. Let's see what Andy can do with 6 in the championship on 33 points coming into this round. And his strategy here looks like it is paying off. I think Thomas would probably say his strategy is paying off as well, being up on a podium position from, I think, qualified well, to be fair. Got have the rub of the green in race number 1, which pumped him further back than he would like to have been in the results, and didn't quite get the first reverse sprint going the way he wanted it. But this one again, he's proving his mettle here as we watch the battle for the lead. Thomas Potter, the teenager, leading. Andy Carroll in 2nd place. Josh Martin has stopped, still showing in 3rd ahead of Nathan Smith, but here is the move. Round the outside we go, and Andy Carroll is going to go for a cutback here. If you get a wider line, you can sometimes get the cutback. They're coming along the main straight, and he'll try and tee up. Remember, it's a left-hander at the end of the straight, so Thomas Potter will have the advantage here. Leaves half a gap on the outside run and maintains the lead. Andy Carroll knows it's not that urgent, but all the same manages to pop through down the inside. Thomas has a moment on the grass trying to get back at him, but Andy Carroll read that superbly and took that in his stride. A lovely move from Andy Carroll to go through into the race. And you can see how Thomas is maybe struggling a little bit on the medium tyre. And Thomas's thoughts now will go one of 2 ways. Will he be able to stage an immediate fight back and challenge Andy Carroll again? I would say, looking at the gap that's developing already, the answer to that is to no. So Thomas's mindset will go on to thinking about keeping in P2. He's got a good gap over Josh Martin at the moment. If we look back, we may well see Josh come into shot. It's a good while before we do see Josh. 5 minutes on the clock, so we're into the last 6 of this. There is Josh going through. So Josh Martin next up from Adam Lyle. Scott Bugner in 5th. Nathan Smith having a go here at Scott Bugner. So 1 and 2 in the championship. Oh, and there's a retirement. Adam Lyle is away and off the track now. I wonder what has caused that. Adam Lyle is off the track. Bitter disappointment for the race 1 winner, double race winner for the championship. We'll maybe find out what the issues were a little bit later on, but we go and catch up with Josh Martin, who is in P3. Martin trying to close down on Thomas Potter. Meanwhile, down behind them, this is for 4th. Nathan Smith and Scott Bugner trading a little bit of virtual paint as they race on. Both of them on the soft tyre here. And this is 1st and 2nd of the championship coming into the round. Scott Bugner up front here. So Scott 1 position away from a podium, but good solid point scoring again. He was 4th in race number 1. So if it stays like this, a brace of 4th positions for Bugner. And the win in race 2 as well, which remember was partially reversed too. So all good points for Scott. Nathan Smith down behind him, still Andy Carroll out front. So Andy Carroll from Thomas Potter. The gap's gone out to 2 seconds. Chris Blakey busy trying to close down on Alex Forster. Chris with a very handy P2 in race 2 after taking meeting pole. At the moment looking to try and get up into P7. A good solid day's racing again from Alex Forster here. Got some big names ahead of him, the likes of Craig Curtis, Nathan Smith, Scott Bugner, Josh Martin, Thomas Potter. and Andy Carroll all ahead of him. Olivia Kruznovska pitted early, dicing with Kenny Press here. So Kenny, who had some dismal luck at the start, but has had a better race of it. He's got himself very nearly up into the top 10. He'll be trying to hunt down Daniel Heaps. You can see visibility not the smartest for him after the shunt earlier on. That shows you, again, if you're new to sim racing, how the damage goes with you through the race. Kenny's done a good job here of getting up into 11th position. Olivia Kruznovska at the moment, and busy dicing with Daniel Heaps. So there is Olivia, drops back just a little bit. So cracking racing going on all the way down the order at the moment. 2 minutes to go. I've not even thought about a driver of the round yet, so that's probably going to have to happen when we get into our ad break after the end of this one. But it's Andy Carroll who is our race leader, and now 3 seconds clear is Andy Carroll of Thomas Potter. And Potter's again proved what a great tactician he is in these races, and did so well to get that 10-second lead early doors, and that counted for a lot. But as you can see, closing in on him now is the Dean Martin Contractors car of Josh Martin, who wants to go one step better on the podium than he did in race number 2. He is in 3rd place at the moment, has 1:24 on the clock, and Josh switched from the hard tyre from the opening stint of the race onto the soft, and has got rapid pace here, and looks down the inside and grabs P2 with a move down the inside of Thomas Potter. I was just about to write the top 3 down. I didn't write Josh Martin in P2. I wasn't about to, but I am now as Martin goes through into P2. Thomas Potter still on a potential podium. Scott Bugner is in 4th. But the crucial thing is to look back from here as we're doing now, and Scott Bugner is not in sight to my mind. So it looks like Thomas, barring any big problems, he says hoping not to, because the commentator for the youngster will hang on to 3rd place, but Josh Martin up in P2 and starting to pull away from Thomas Potter. So we're going to get our first Thomas interview of the series in P3. Try and fight back if he can. Someone not having to fight back though is Andy Carroll, with 25 seconds left on the clock. Crosses the line a bit further back. Nathan Smith now down behind Craig Curtis. Nathan in P6. Alex Forster 7th, Chris Blakey in 8th. Alex Walker is next up. Nathan Smith will be disappointed for today's results after showing very, very strongly at Brno last Wednesday. But nevertheless, solid points. And remember, this could be a drop round. He can come back to form next time when we go to Poland, Tor Poznan. Looking forward to that one. At the same time, of course, for our racing. Chris Blakey fastest lap, missed that one, 1:46.508. So a point for him as Carroll and Josh Martin get involved. Josh Martin has had a stunning race here and gets his nose in front. And Carroll, has he got a problem? Josh Martin is through. Josh Martin now. We couldn't have written the script for this. The guy celebrating his birthday goes through, and Andy Carroll is losing out. Thomas Potter could be on for P2 here. This is the last lap of the race. Andy Carroll down to P2. I knew I shouldn't have written any of that. Andy Carroll's going to thank me for writing that down as a potential winner. I thought he was going to get it, but Josh Martin, well, he said he had the potential when we spoke to him in 3rd place after race 2, and has come through superbly. The clock has run down, and he has got a good lead now as he comes past the pit entrance. So that means he's only got one more corner to do around the final hairpin, round through the chicane and onto the main straight, and see the flag. Josh Martin will take the win on his birthday. Happy birthday and well done, Josh Martin. As I say, we couldn't have written that script. Alan Gow might have done in touring cars. Andy Carroll takes 2nd position. Thomas Potter will complete our podium, but it is Josh Martin that takes the win in the feature race from Andy Carroll. Thomas Potter, Scott Bugner in 4th place from Craig Curtis, then Nathan Smith. Alex Forster again a strong 7th place from Chris Blakey. That's the way they are at the moment, yet to cross the line. Chris Blakey does so now. with next up Alex Walker in 9th. Here comes Alex across the line. Well done, Alex, 9th place, so inside the top 10. From Daniel Heaps, then Kenny Press, and Lee Pearcey, who ran very strongly in the early stages, going to wrap up in 12th place from Olivia Krasnovska. But the final feature race, double points, of course, in the feature race for our race winner, Josh Martin, and we will hear from him, Andy Carroll, and Thomas Potter after this short break.
Mute yourself.
Okay. Birthday boy driver as well. Okay, so yeah, there is.
Yeah. Josh, Andy, and Thomas Potter. Hi guys, stay muted until you're spoken to, please. Thank
There was.
And you're live.
Welcome back, everybody. That was a great race. Do you know what? I was thinking back to my days when I used to write race reports. Not something I've done for a while. Probably when Extreme E started, actually. Back in the day, I wrote some running copy for that, but that's another story. But what I was getting to was thinking so much happened over the course of that race, as it does when you've got the pit stops and the strategy to think about. And talking of strategy, how appropriate is it that we talk to Professor Potter on 3rd place? Well done, Thomas. You happy with that?
Thanks so much. I'm really happy, especially as for once my tyres actually lasted for, well, 30 minutes this time instead of 15, which somehow happened, so I'm really happy about that.
And again, I apologise if you get fed up with saying the master tactician, but what we've seen from you coming into this series is that you've been up there challenging for the overall fastest off the front positions, you know, by getting your qualifying sorted out now. And obviously you qualified really well today in P3. But you've still got, if things aren't working out for you in races 1 and 2, you've still got that head which is working out what to do in the reverse grid races. So, you know, podium finish, cracking result on those times, and a 10-second lead at one stage as well.
Basically, huge thanks to Nathan Smith for that lead. I can only say he's if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have actually probably been P3s. Like, well, if it wasn't for Craig as well, my tyres would have been dead before lap 2. He told me exactly what to do. I did it, and well, obviously the tyres lasted me for the 30 minutes, which managed to get me P3. So I'm really, well, shocked that I had the 10-second lead at one point, and then surprised that I actually kept the podium.
Oh, it's brilliant. I mean, last time you didn't do Pascani last time. Is that the race that your sister did? It was, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. It's my first ever time on the track, actually.
So how did you find it?
Not fun. It's so in this car, it's way too bumpy for me, especially well, if I'm being honest, with my weak arms and the force feedback on my wheel, it's quite tiring, especially in the 30-minute one. But it's a fun track to do quite laps on, I'd say, but not for a race.
That's fair enough. And it's Catherine watching, by the way, today. So yeah, she deputised for you, didn't she, at the first round of the Cooper? Is she watching? Is she with you?
She's in the living room.
And I hope they're watching it. I hope the family are watching.
I've got no people policy in my room, so we're all watching it live on YouTube instead.
Yeah, I can understand that. If I'm at work, I don't generally like people watching whatever I'm doing. I don't mind so much in the commentary box, but yeah, when you're doing something like that, it's not great having people watching over you. So, what about next week? What Tor Poznan in Poland next week? Have you done anything on that, or is it literally straight on the sim afterwards and start work for that straight away?
Basically, straight onto that. Well, as soon as this interview finished, I might get on for a bit once I download the track. But well, I've actually never heard of any of these tracks, to be honest, apart from think that, well, I've heard of Pascani obviously because my sister was doing it at a younger track.
And of course, when you get into this circuit aside, when you get into international racing, I'm sure you've got a great international career ahead of you in whatever you end up doing. You'll look back on some of these races, say for example you went into GT racing, you'll say, Brno, yeah, done that on the sim, actually, done lots of laps on it and raced there. So it is valuable experience, isn't it?
So we can save us everything apart from Pascani, as obviously it's not a real track. But it'll probably be quite fun to watch a race around here if it is, because, well, there's lots of good defending points and, well, there's only a few overtaking points, so probably close racing on this track in real life.
I think maybe someone will build it one day. I don't know how you do that, but it would be a good track to build. But Thomas Potter, great to catch up with you. Very well done on a podium, and always a pleasure to have a chat with you, and also to watch you race as well. Thomas Potter in P3, well done.
Thank you.
Second position, race leader. Well, just got to ask, what happened, Andy Carroll?
I was chasing Thomas down, and I think I put in like 3 laps in a row in the 46s.
Yeah, you did.
And that, I think I paid for that on that last lap. I was like, I was hoping Thomas would hold up Josh just for another second, and then when I came out of the last corner and I saw Josh was only 2.2 or something behind me. I thought that's not going to be enough. And I needed about 3.5 seconds, I think, to give him something to worry about. And he just in the end just kind of understeered wide and he breezed past me. But I say it was good fun. It was good mixed strategy. Didn't quite know where anyone really was. Obviously Thomas drove off, had that big lead, so when I kind of came out after the pit stop, I was kind of like, right, let's go and get him. And I think I just took a little bit too much out of the tyres. But no, second, so much. My second, the middle race, I had no sound somehow. So I was driving with no sound, no ability to know what my revs were doing, and then I ended up with bad damage, smashed windshield, 45-degree steering angle and stuff. So race 2 was not great, but really happy to come back. Race 3 there.
2 podiums are good though, aren't they, for points?
Yeah.
And also obviously the feature race is more points, which a point I was kind of missed in the previous championship, so apologies to everybody for that, but decent.
I definitely wasn't expecting, I think, double podium here, because it's really tough track. Obviously likes of Craig, Tom were really quick, so I was I certainly wasn't expecting 2 podiums, so chuffed with that.
That's good. Well, very well done. Always great to have a natter with you, and thanks for entertaining us, Andy, and have a good week, and we look forward to catching up with you next Wednesday.
Cheers.
Andy Carroll, P2, very well done. And I was talking about script writing, and this is the kind of thing that happens in the BTCC, isn't it? It's his birthday and takes the win. Josh Martin, many congratulations. Well done.
Cheers. Thank you very much.
It wasn't a fix. So it took me a while to, when you go to the opticians and you can't read the letters, I've got that scenario here because I thought you were on a medium to start with. And then I suddenly realised when I was using my variofocals correctly on the screen that it actually said hard for the opening stint. So at what point did you decide to go on the hard tyre? There was 2 or 3 of you that did that, but obviously it worked well.
I'm very glad I stuck with the hards. Well, last night I come on to do a bit of practice, and I thought, well, after the softs being really well last week, I thought I'd try and do a 15-minute run on the softs. And I struggle with, like I said last week, I struggle with understeer as it is. So I'm normally quite good on the tyres, but I'm eating through the fronts. My tyre wear seems a bit worse compared to other people. And on the softs, me trying to do 15-minute stint, I was like 5 seconds down on my doubter by a 15-minute period. So I knew, right, I'm going to need to be like a harder compound. And so I intended to use the mediums for the sprint race, only being 15 minutes. And I'd saved my setup for the feature race with the hard to soft strategy. And after doing the feature race with kind of my medium drop off towards the end, I was a little bit on the fence because the mediums were hanging on a little bit better than I thought, and people we'll chat before each race on the grid, and a few people, well, even Andy, who comes second in that one, was obviously saying how bad the hards are, and it put me a little bit on edge to try them, because to be honest, I hadn't actually tried them until that race. But I thought, hey, we'll take the gamble and give it a go, and I'm really glad I did.
Yeah, we're glad you did as well. It was an absolutely mega race to watch, and it puts you up to second position in the championship. Obviously, we've only had 2 events, and you dropped one of them, so your drop scores are a very healthy 46. I'm sure that may alter as we go on, but Scott's obviously outscored you in the first round, 56, and you got 51. So second position in the championship, 3 points clear of Adam, I think, at the moment. So not a bad way to head virtually to Poland next time out.
Yeah, it's definitely unexpected results this evening, because I hadn't done too much practice. And by the time get adjusted to the track, and then I had my few issues before qualifying, so I hadn't done any laps building up to qualifying today, and I just jumped on, done those 2 laps, and obviously qualified, I think 12th or wherever I was, and then had that tricky first lap and ended up at the back. So yeah, it's been it couldn't have started off much worse, but obviously to come out of it with 2 podiums. Yeah, really chuffed with that. And even in that race, I was last at one point, kind of just taking my tyre at the start. I kind of got boxed in and got overtaken by a few cars. But yeah, worked my way through the order. Made some quite critical overtakes, actually. I think looking back on it now, some quite swift ones. Like when I come up behind Nathan, I was able to get him straight away. I didn't really lose any time. And the same with Tom. If I could have, I had to go for that move, and got past him really quick, which then allowed me to get onto Andy and attack him with the first opportunity I had, which he started to understeer wide around that long left-hander, and I just stuck my nose in before the right-hand king to just put him offline a bit, because I knew his fronts were going to be shot. I thought if I put him offline, I'll be able to get a lovely little cut back on the following corner, which worked out perfectly. So yeah, super happy with that.
Brilliant. And as you can see from the graphic as well, given your the in you had to the meeting with the issues and everything, top point scorer and driver of the round for us as well. We'd like to award you that, Josh. So that's our not a birthday gift, because you've earned it. So gifts are given, aren't they? But you very definitely earned driver of the round today and the win. So many congratulations on that. And hope you enjoy the celebrations later on in the week, and enjoy your dinner after today. We look forward to seeing you in Poland next time.
Yeah, cheers. Thank you very much. Yeah, I look forward to it. I've got to go and change this t-shirt, because it's a lot of concentration to that, but it's definitely a sweaty one.
Well, congratulations, Josh, and well done. And happy birthday. So, yeah, we couldn't have written the script for that, but the way it worked out was absolutely superb. And hopefully we'll have more of the same. The racing is always great. It just manifests itself in different ways, and I'm sure it's going to do the same next week. Event 3, round 3 of the championship, 22nd of January. And Tor Poznan in Poland, another circuit for me to learn all about. Not sure who's joining us on commentary yet. We do have some guests lined up from the real world, but a couple of issues with people testing and sorting deals out and everything else. Reeve wasn't able to make it this week, so Reeve, hope you're well and not too busy. But hopefully we'll have someone joining me in the box for next week as well. But it's been a pleasure to do it on my own, and thoroughly enjoyed it. And thanks for Rich Hayden for backing me up. Wherever you are, thanks for watching. Be nice to each other, and we'll see you next week. Bye for now.
Don't forget you need to mute.
The inside of coats, too heavily involved, and that's Whitehead and Coates.
So my central monitor went off, and everything that's on it I couldn't see, and I was trying to quick move them to the monitors on the side without being able to see where they are, because obviously the monitors no idea what you're saying. Tested it 3 times today, so it didn't crash, which is the positive, so I fixed the crashing and then we had to review it.